Episode 14 of the. It is 14, right, Lee? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was 13 last time, so it must
Yeah.
be.
So 14th of the Robby Framework Show. So welcome everybody. Um, Hopefully we'll have some interesting updates. Um, Hopefully from Lee's end because there's not much from my end.
We got to do interesting. Oh man, I don't know if I'm up to interesting tonight, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess the only update on my end is that I have a machine that's now capable of streaming. So
A
last week,
computer from this century. Imagine that.
exactly. Hey, Michael, welcome.
Michael, we've been missing you.
Thanks for joining.
So did I
Let's
hear he's
see,
not living on Mars anymore? Is that what you told me?
something like that. But maybe he can fill us in on what's going on. But I think he's not in Mars anymore.
Yeah, I know about that being busy stuff.
Yeah.
ThinkPad. Which ThinkPad did you get?
So I ended up getting the T15 Gen 2. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, but it's the T15, man.
Yeah, so I guess it's supposed to. I know that it's from this year, so it has the Core i5 11th gen. So I think that's one of the most recent ones.
Hmm.
Um, the one I had was a T560, and I've been telling everybody that it was 5 years old. But I started doing the math, and I was lying. I got it in 2015.
Yeah, also 7 years old.
It is seven
Yeah,
years old.
ancient
Yeah,
history.
yeah.
He's now living in the Matrix. He moved. Yeah, I prefer Mars to the Matrix. That Matrix thing's kind of weird. The whole idea of being stuck in a cocoon there, sucking nutrients. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I guess from my end, Lee, that's it. The other thing that I want to highlight regarding the project and the things that are moving forward is that we got the logo finalized. It's still not showing up on the site yet. Um, I'm still lagging on some stuff that I said I was gonna do and I haven't done. Um, but the other day we had a good session. What was it, Sunday? Right? It seems like it was yesterday, but we spent what, a good 2 hours
Oh yeah,
fixing
yeah.
the
Our weekly
pipeline.
meeting went crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Intel chips suck. Yeah, well,
Yeah, but you know what, Michael? So I was debating. There was a cheaper version of the laptop I got, and it was a third of the cost, but it was running a. It seemed to me like a really cheap version of an AMD processor. So I didn't want to risk it. I said I'd rather stick to what I know. And
I've always heard how good those AMD chips are, and they probably are somehow. Though I don't know. Maybe I'm just stuck in consumerism or something. The Intel name has always held me. Am I going to go for a non-Intel chip? I don't think I can. Even though I fully know I've heard everything about AMD's better, and I don't have a hard time believing it, but I still go with the Intels. Oh, we got Bismarck too. Good, we're getting there.
hey, Bismarck, um, welcome to the stream. 8300 or better. I don't even. I'm able to measure processors in Core I whatever's. 3, 5, 7, 11, 9.
Yeah, yeah. The cores I can relate to because of the threads, but yeah, that's about. And you'd think I ought to be getting more into it, considering what we're doing with Robby and all the multi-threading we do. But so far, it does what I want it to do, and that seems to be all I care about. Octa-core, 8 cores, all right. And
Yeah,
octa-core just sounds cool too.
yeah.
So we had a couple other things happen in the business this week. We got our AdWords campaign started. I just wrote our second ad for it since our first ad has gotten a big 0 clicks, goose egg so far. Had 108 impressions and no clicks. So maybe I'm not that good at writing these ads yet. I tried adding another one to it, and we'll see if it does any better.
All right. Well, so I have Michael saying that they're stuck on 4 cores. So this laptop I got, it is a 4 core machine, but my old Alienware, it's getting old, about 3 years old. It has 6 cores. So I know that they have some chips that they have more cores, but I don't know.
Yeah, my desktop has the 6 core Intel chip in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe sometime I'm going to make the crossover. Intel's going to be in big trouble if I go to AMD. If people like me, old codgers like me, switch to AMD, then they got issues. They got
Oh yeah.
problems. Let's see what else. There was something else that happened in the business this week, but it's escaping me now. So there's been some interesting tech news stuff going on that I've run into. Um, One thing I heard about. Are we ready to do tech news here?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it, Lee.
One of them that I hadn't heard about, but apparently is a thing, a pretty big thing, is people starting to use drones to smuggle stuff into prisons.
Oh.
Which that one very interesting to me.
Yeah, well, that I guess it makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's like go figure. It makes so much sense. That's surprising. No, I hadn't thought of. Apparently, a lot of people did think of it. There's some prisons are having it happen as many as 100 times a year. That's old news. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It was new to me though. I'm kind of behind the times here, but interesting stuff to me.
Well, for to me, it makes perfect sense, right? It's like those people are gonna find ways to,
They're saying
get.
people they actually float the drones right outside the window of people's cells. If they can open the window of their cell, they can reach out and lift stuff off of the drone, which is
Wow.
pretty wild to think about.
You know, pretty soon they're gonna order from Amazon and get it delivered.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently, the most common things aside from drugs are cell phones that they take in that way,
Yeah, that,
and
that makes
weapons.
makes perfect sense. Communication, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, Michael says that's old news.
yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm an old guy, and drugs getting. I had, I, yeah, make. I'd heard about people bringing drugs across the border that
But
way.
I thought it was tunnels they were using.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard tunnels more. It's drones aren't carrying big enough weight to really do substantial amounts of drugs yet, like cartel guys are gonna do. You're not gonna bring in a ton of cocaine with a drone. At least not any of the drones that I know about available right now.
Yeah, well, good thing we're now monetized, Lee, because with the word cocaine in the video.
Yeah, yeah, good point. I forget about these things. Really, really, we're just talking about it. We're not doing anything with it.
Yeah, we won't be able to find sponsors for this video, Lee.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to go scrub that out afterwards and get Camtasia out and take that out of there. Turn it into bunnies or something. 4 drones together can pull it off. Yeah, but you got to have those drones really fly just right for that to work.
Yep.
Let's see here. So, another thing I ran into this week, I got a question from one of our beta customers. Um, could we run Robby on Windows for ARM? Which, how familiar are you with ARM?
Well,
I hadn't even heard of it, I have to admit.
I do remember seeing that question. So I know that the architecture that Apple is using on their chips, the M1 and now the M2, and all the versions of the M1, they have the Pro and the old Max, or and they're saying they're gonna come up with an Ultra. Um, so there, I know that they were talking about doing making that move a while ago, and Windows was aware of the ARM architecture, and I know that Windows came out with a version for ARM,
Yeah,
and I know
yeah,
that
Windows for
some
ARM.
of yeah, and I know that some of the Surface products that especially the tablet ones um, run that version of Windows that can support that architecture. So when we got that question, I was thinking about the um, the Macs that I have, and they're both Intel based. So they're not, the ones that I have are not ARM based, and but I wanted to have a chance to talk to you before I responded to that email, but I'm pretty sure, or I don't know, maybe you could double check. But are you sure that your Surface tablet is not ARM based?
Ah, I don't think so. And does the fact that they have Intel chips? I mean, I know ARM refers to the architecture on the chip and that it's a new risk set or a different risk set that's tighter and uses lower power. Um, and I know my tablet is an Intel chip,
Okay.
but it's interesting because I thought in one of the articles I read it sounded like even Macs running Intel chips are doing Windows for ARM, but I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal
Um,
is with that. I got to learn more about it because we
yeah,
got the
me
guy in
too.
Germany that
Yeah.
is wanting to do Windows for ARM on a Mac and wanting to know if Robbie's going to run on it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you can emulate that architecture. I'm pretty sure that if you're running a chip, for example, if you're running an Intel chip, and even if you install Parallels on it on a Mac, I don't know if you're able to emulate that, that architecture. So I think you're pretty stuck with, like either 32-bit based or 64, the architectures that we're used to. But I don't know if you could emulate an ARM unless you have an actual chip that is doing that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm real curious about it. I want to dig more into it.
Yeah, that's an interesting subject there.
Surface RT and 2 are ARM based. Anything over is Intel Celeron. Actually, mine's not a Celeron, it's a regular i7. Um, you can get the Celeron ones. I spent pretty big bucks on my
On your
Surface.
Surface, okay.
Yeah,
Then
it's
yeah, it's probably an Intel chip then.
yeah, oh it is, and it's 6 core. Yeah, yeah Pro i7. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty far up there, and I spent way too much money on it back when I had money coming in, back before I was a poor entrepreneur. So let's see here. I had something else. Oh, kind of a tech thing that is interesting to me. I don't know. I hope I'm not going to get too political here. I don't mean to. But this thing with Alex Jones, you know about Alex Jones and his lawsuit with the Sandy Hook people?
you know, I actually was watching a YouTube video, but I was completely lost. It
Oh,
was what I caught was something that I guess by accident his text messages were sent to.
oh, there was that.
Yeah, but I don't know why he's a big deal, or why
Oh,
he's
okay.
even being sued.
Well,
Yeah.
so and the reason I think he relates to tech is because he's got a website called Infowars that and a whole bunch of people that seem to believe absolutely anything the guy says. Um, And long, quite a while back, he came. Remember the Sandy Hook shootings,
Yeah.
the school where they shot all the kids. He came out quite a while back and said that was a false flag and it was all lies, and none of those kids really got shot. And all of the parents were in on the deal, and they were all part of the conspiracy. And I guess a lot of those parents of those kids ended up just having their lives turned into living hell because Alex Jones followers all started harassing them and talking about how they were liars and their kids weren't really dead. And it was, I mean, that's just unimaginable to me. It's horrific. But he lost lawsuit today. He officially, the lawsuit, some of the parents sued him for defamation, and the first one came out that he officially lost it today, which yay. But the interesting tech part of it to me is you can believe anything you want to believe because of the internet now. Anyone who follows Alex Jones is a Trump supporter. I think that's fairly likely, probably. Not that I'm saying anything against Trump supporters. I don't care. I try to stay fairly apolitical, but just that if you decide you want to believe something, you can find really good evidence for it on the internet, or at least it'll feel like that.
Yeah.
And Alex Jones really shows that. Area 51 is real, by God. Even the Air Force has said Area 51 is real. InfoWars, however, not so much. I saw it on Reddit saying it's real. Well, if
Yep.
it's on Reddit,
If
that's
it's yeah,
gotta be true.
yeah, no, if it's on the web, it's real, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like one example the other day, I saw somewhere that more people right now believe in the Earth being flat than at any time in history, other than back when people thought the Earth was flat.
Really, that's bonkers.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everybody can believe whatever they want, but that's I don't know.
Well, it's crazy and it's so harmful. I mean, I won't go into the whole Trump thing, but a lot of this stuff of being able to convince people of things is really harmful, and Alex Jones is a perfect example of that. So it was nice to see him actually. He's going to have to at least pay some money about it. The Earth is flat. I saw pictures of it. Wow, could you post those pictures for us, Michael? That'd be cool. I'm ready to believe it. So let's see. I think that was it for my.
I
I ran
do.
into one article. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna mention I really don't have anything yet, but I finally got my OpenAI beta request approved. So I have an account for OpenAI, which are the makers of Dolly. I think I mentioned it to you before, Lee. It's a thing where you tell it to get you a picture of something and you describe what the picture should look like and it draws it for you. So I haven't had the chance to actually log in and generate some images, but so hopefully for the next episode we'll have something.
Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to see. I saw one picture from it that was all the way to disturbing of a woman with a naked breast coming out of her third eye. That was kind of ooh, that's weird. It's like a giant zit. I don't know. That's the only place the poles are flat. The Earth is not a circle. Well, I'm ready to believe anything, especially if someone from Mars tells me.
Yeah, or from the Matrix now.
Yes, the Matrix. I like Mars better. That Matrix thing. I'm just not down with that. That's too confining.
Let me see. So we talked about. I have some articles that we didn't get to, but I think we got through all of them last on the last episode. I know that we talked about the robot that breaks fingers.
Yeah, yeah, I like that
uh,
one. That was a good one. Sorry to the little. I don't mean that. It's not good for little kids to get their fingers broken, but that was a story you never would have heard when I was growing up. Yeah,
yeah, and then
except
we
on
I
a
think we also
scientific
talked
point.
about the Python creator talking about those other programming languages, Go, Rust, Julia. Um, I think he mentioned one more, but those are the ones. And I know that Michael sent me an article about Carbon. He's actually the one who told me about the new language, um, Carbon, but maybe he knows more than I do.
Yeah, I saw him. One of his chats here said something about carbon a while back. That was break. I think it's like a C based language.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the successor for C++. plus plus.
Right, right, yeah. Which is interesting. Who thought of a successor for C++? It's so well. It's not rarely used. It's used in certain segments a lot still, but it's kind of interesting. I saw a thing just briefly. I didn't get a chance to read it very much about it, but a language called Daskel, Daskell. That what was interesting about it, they have data types and then they have kinds. And I'm not real clear on what kinds are yet. And then there's a certain type of kind, well, which I can't remember now. So I'm ruining it here. But interesting thing, I got to find out what kinds are. And it's apparently, you've got values and then you've got types and then you've got something that sits above types that is kinds, which interesting stuff.
Wow.
It's hard for me to imagine even what that would be, unless it's like categories or groupings of types that come together as kinds. But I don't know. Incorporate both R and C++ in Carbon. Okay. Never done
Okay.
any R. I've heard of it. Three pointers make a kind. Okay. Wow. Michael, it's really good having you here so you can answer these kind of questions for us. I did see something about that, about star, star, star. But when you
That's
start getting into those pointers to
yeah,
pointers to
that's
pointers to
that
pointers,
sounds like pain to me.
yeah. For us dumb old C# programmers, we don't do that pointer stuff or pointer math. Yeah. And a guy into robotics, I shouldn't even be admitting that. Okay, he's familiar with Haskell. Okay. I guess it's just one L. I thought it was two L's. Okay. I'm gonna have to go
Okay,
read
so
more about that.
Carbon is like this language you were talking about.
Yeah,
Is that
well,
what you're
carbon,
saying,
yeah,
Michael?
I think that's what he's saying is carbon is like Haskell,
Okay.
which I guess it's becoming a really popular language for scientific applications and stuff like that. Probably robotics, which means I'm gonna have to go learn it. There's always some new thing to go learn,
Yep.
which is kind of why I like this career.
You don't
But I'm
get
getting
bored.
kind of old for it though.
As soon as you start getting comfortable with something, when they get to like version 6 or 7, like .NET Core or .NET, whatever it's called, then you got to learn something new.
Like an HTML page, you can incorporate other languages. Is what Carbon can do. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. So yeah, what you're saying about learning something new and all that. I've had a saying, kind of an axiom that I've been using since the 90s, which is this business, what you know is irrelevant in this business. It's not about what you know, because what you know is going to become irrelevant in the next 6 months, 18 months. It's all going to be different anyway. It's really about how quickly you can learn the next thing coming down the pike
Yeah.
at you. And it continues to be that way. And the stuff coming down the pike now is getting pretty wild.
And I think things are changing quicker. That's something else that I've noticed. Um,
Yeah, in some ways, I think the technology is changing really quickly now. The kind of platforms that everything sits on, and the way people are bundling it together, like Docker and Kubernetes and that stuff, packaging it all together in these new, weird, bizarre ways, or things that would seem weird and bizarre to old farts like me.
yeah, and but you know what, Lee? It makes a lot of sense because it makes deployments and managing clusters environments so much easier.
Oh yeah, oh
Um,
yeah. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. Believe me. I've been looking at Docker for Robby here for a while now.
but it's
Uh,
it like you said, it's not for everybody, and not everybody's at the level where they need to invest that time to build pipelines or clusters in that way. I think
yeah,
it applies more to established businesses.
actual shops.
Then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I agree. Where I was looking at it for Robby was the idea of bundling AI models into packages with Robby. Robby shops at Sears and Pie Stalkers. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him you said that. Actually, Sears is out of business too. I guess I don't know. Does Sears still exist anymore? They closed
I
the
think
one down
there's
in Merced, the town
I think
nearest
there's
me.
still a few brick and mortar stores that are still open.
Oh, okay.
The one here in town is not here at the mall anymore.
Yeah, not in the one in Merced's gone too.
Yeah.
So Express is taking over. HTML is going to die next year. Well, that's a bold prediction there. I mean, I can see it getting replaced over time, but die next year, that's a bold prediction. Tell him Astros. So, another thing going on in the business. I'm getting ready to do a release, our first post beta release. Um, Added in the ability to import and export channels for Robby Networks, and then also went and reworked the message schema building form, um, which it was kind of clunky before. It was the very first dialogue I built in the Robby UI. So it was pretty clunky and needed a facelift, and had some things it wouldn't do that it really needed to do that it does now. So,
Cool.
so I'm doing a sprint, my first sprint since we went beta, and probably will be releasing that here in the next week or two.
Nice.
I was thinking about demoing it, but then I thought about it. So hardly anybody knows what it used to look like. So it's really going to be lost on people to say, look what it does now. Robby is the MVP of C Sharp. That's right. That's our story, and we're sticking to it until we get Python going on it.
Yep.
Which I don't know if we've mentioned that here or not, but we've added to our roadmap of having Robby do Python. I think it's
I
inevitable.
think you did mention it on the last episode.
Oh, did I? Okay. Yeah. Well, with 58 with that survey from Stack Overflow saying 58% of programmers are doing Python, that's pretty compelling. A pretty compelling market share that we need to be addressing.
Yep. And which one? Rust was the most loved language. So
Yeah, I got to learn about that language.
yeah, whoever uses it really likes it. So
Maybe
there
it's one
must
of
be
those
something there.
European things. These RTOS for Robby. Okay. You got me. What's RTOS? Do you know what RTOS
No,
is?
I do not.
Is that some kind of operating system? All right. I got my other computer here. Let me get Google going.
I can do more than one thing at the same time now, Lee.
Without crashing everything.
Yep. Real time operating system.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Oh, I ran into this article that was interesting just because it talked about something I've done a few times and I like the things these guys said. So this article was about some guys that they're old guys like me. They get drawn in to talk to people just getting started in programming and giving advice. And these guys had four things that for people that are just showing up at a new software job, their first software job, that I liked quite a bit. The first one is don't worry about knowing everything, and don't ever think you do know everything, which
Yeah,
that applies whether it's your first job or your 100th job. There's always going to be people who know more than you about something, and you
that is
just got
true.
to accept that and be ready for it. Then the
That
next
is,
one, uh-huh.
no, I was going to say that is absolutely true.
Yeah,
If,
and nothing worse than the prima donna that thinks they do know everything.
yeah, yeah, I think that the minute that you start thinking that way, you won't learn as much, right? If nobody can give you advice or you won't listen to advice, it's going to be pretty hard for anyone to learn if you're not open to listening.
That's right. And then circle back around to what we were saying before about in 6 months, what you know is going to be irrelevant anyway.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
always about learning. Then the second thing these guys said was ask questions and have opinions, which that made me think of that guy Cody in the last job we were in together. And what impressed me most about him was he asked intelligent questions and had opinions for someone on their first job as an intern. I mean, they're an intern out of college and having opinions that actually were relevant. You made you want to bring them into the conversation and asking questions that made you want to bring them into the conversation. So I thought that was pretty good advice too. And the third one, there's four, not too many. The third one was have a business oriented mindset, which that's one, man, that's made my career having that going on. You get people who are so locked into the tech part of things and the theory and all of that that they lose track of what's important for a software shop.
Yep.
What's important for a software shop is to get software that works out the door in an efficient fashion. And yeah, the theory and all of that, it's going to help and you need it. And I'm not saying it's not valid, but if you're losing track of the bottom line from a business perspective, you're not going to be much use to a commercial
Yep.
software shop.
Yep. I completely agree. And our old boss, um, our friend now, used
Yeah,
he always sort of like, hey, he started like reeling me in. It's like, hey, come back.
that's
Right?
right.
It's like that's all pretty cool and everything, but we gotta make money.
Yeah, we need a business case here.
Yeah.
And then my fourth and favorite one of their pieces of advice is everyone breaks production.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, I remember my first commercial software job, the first time I broke it, I broke production and it was, this was a Windows app that you release, you shrink wrap it and send it out. It's the old days. So there was production and all of that went on. And we had that sucker on the market for about 2 weeks before my bug showed up. And I was never more mortified in my whole life. I broke the app and it's out there in the market. And oh my God. And I remember my boss taking me aside and said, look, this happens to everybody, man. Don't worry about it.
Wow.
We'll get an update out there. No problem.
You
I've
know,
never broken production, only beta. Oh, come on. You haven't been doing it very long then. Maybe
you
not,
know,
maybe so. I don't know. I shouldn't say that.
that reminded me of a conversation that I was having with my one of my brother-in-laws, one of my brothers-in-law. Um, I was kind of complaining about how difficult it was for us to deal with production bugs. Getting a call on a Saturday night, like, "Hey, production's down. Get on and get this API back up," and the customers are complaining or whatever. And then we would go in one night, a few hours, patch it and put the fix out there, and then get everything back on, and get some sleep and have a Sunday. And he's an electrical engineer, and he was telling me, "Whoa, when we mess up like that in production, it's not so quite like that, because you have um, chips that are already in production, and there's many, many, many of them out there."
Yeah, yeah,
And then you find out that you have an issue. It's not a few hours that you're gonna spend, fixing it. It's a different story when it's a physical product. And
yeah, yeah. Same thing with the shrink wrap. When
yeah,
the shrink wrap
exactly.
days, when you sent out 100,000 packages that have that bug sitting in them, and now you have to send out 100,000 CDs to those people to update that. It's a big deal.
Yep. And Michael says, and then Sunday, another bug appears. Yep, it's Sunday night.
Yeah, inevitably.
And Windows 10 is on service pack. Pi number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used to work for AOL. No, I never worked for AOL. I'm not that old, although I do remember AOL.
Oh yeah, me too.
I remember when it was the friendly interface to use email and to get onto the internet, when the internet was just starting to be a thing.
Oh yeah, I remember getting those CDs in the mail.
Yeah, that's right. I hadn't thought about that in years.
Yeah.
Free CD shrink wrap
Yep.
with the 56K modem. Oh, no, that was my first modem was, let me think here. I think it was 12K baud, if it was even that much. Yeah, I think it was 12, if I remember right. Back when I was running, what was the, oh,
Yeah,
shoot.
33.3 was the one I remember.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the 33 threes. Yeah. There was ones before that. I got one when I had my old Radio Shack computer. And there was computer something, the one of the first online things you could do. AOL was one of those, and there was three or four of them. This was pre-internet, when there were like chat rooms and different stuff you could get into and go do. And they were the first things you could really use a modem for on a PC. Um, but that's when I got my first one, and it was painfully slow. Had his own BBS, yeah. I remember those. That's when you first started getting online porn too.
I remember
Not that I ever looked at it or anything like that.
I remember my first modem being like a separate device.
Yeah,
It connected with the serial port. Yeah, that was
yeah, with the old D plug serial port.
yeah.
And actually, my first one, you had the coupler, the acoustic coupler, where you took the phone receiver and sat it on top of it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And I think I paid like $200 for the thing or something crazy like that too.
And I remember when DSL came out, and
Yeah,
then I think AT&T said, "Yeah, we got DSL." Like, wow.
18-pin serial. Yeah, the D plugs. So, and I remember when the internet was first coming around. I guess it was must have been the mid '90s, '95 ish. And I had a job. I was an IT director for this little graduate school, and At that point, what do they call the line that was the big line to have that was 1500K? T1
A
line.
T1. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a fractional T1 line that was like a quarter of a T1 line, and we were hot stuff. Yeah, DSL was a good deal for its time.
Yeah. Now you can get fiber, right? A gigabit up and down.
Yeah, yeah, T1 line at this point. Yeah, not even your worst DSL is better than that now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. So when I used to at the old house, which was an old way older house, I used to get or I was able to get fiber, and here, which is a house that's 40 years newer than the other one, I can't. So
Is
go
that
figure.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, what's up with that? Michael
Yeah.
says
So
fractional T1 was 128. Yeah, you're probably right. I think that's right now that you say it. That was a long time
I
ago.
think that was the same speed of my first DSL service I got.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised back in the 90s and the early 2000s. That was when
So
1500 was still big.
yeah, Michael says he has 5G. Are you? Is that Verizon? That's your provider? FiOS or something like that. I think I heard about that.
Well, DSL was 256 when it started, I think, and then they had it.
You
I think
can
it got up to
you could go
1500,
up.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's T-Mobile.
Oh, wow. I heard that 5G, the towers just put out massive radio waves, which,
Yeah.
given that I have a tower across the street from my
Yeah,
house,
Sealy,
I'm
you have
a
to
little
make friends and
nervous.
just I mean, imagine the reception you would get, Lee. You're right there.
Yeah, I'm unwilling. It's AT&T. I'm not sure it's pumping 5G yet. I think it's supposed to be though. But yeah, I won't do it. I hate. I'm in the I hate AT&T club now since they built a frigging cell phone tower across the street from my house that's been here for 40 years. But sorry, I'm backing off here.
30 bucks for 1 terabyte. That's not bad. So it's kind of like a pay as you use it
Oh, that's for a terabyte of data. Wow,
a month.
wow. I was wondering what 30 but a month meant.
I use here
Makes
at the
sense to
house,
bucks.
we use about almost 2.5, 3 terabytes per month. Is how much
Yeah,
data we consume, especially with those 4K TVs. They,
yeah. Now it's with in my house. I got three TVs that or two TVs that run pretty much constantly with Netflix or Prime or something going on. That I know we're really sucking down the data here.
yeah.
Well, I think I'm running through what I got for this week.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here, and I think I've gone through everything as well.
We'll go ahead and get a demo together for next week.
Yeah.
One other little company thing coming up. We're getting ready to release some little how-to videos for how to do kind of robotic tasks, little simple things that I've done along the way in building our robot. So those will be coming up if you want to watch on our channel.
Yep.
The
And
first
we
one's going to be how to use a Arduino motor shield. Sorry, walked on you there.
no, it's all right. No, I was just gonna say that if you can't wait until those videos are out, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch some now because we do have some videos there on how to get started on Robby. So
Yeah, These we're gonna do won't have anything to do with Robbie. They're just gonna be purely about doing robotic stuff, little robotic stuff.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up. We're at the 45-minute mark.
Glad you came back, Michael. Good to see you again,
Yeah, good to see you again, man.
and thanks for
Um,
stopping by, Bismarck. Didn't hear much from you tonight, but glad you were here.
and I hope your move from Mars to the Matrix wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
And I hope the Matrix is treating you well.
yeah. Watch out for those weird drugs they give you to keep you happy in there.
Yeah, the different colored pills, huh?
Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Same time, Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Bye, everyone. Red pill only. I think that's a good closing note. Red pill only.
Red pill.